Topside Loop is still here as well. Martin getting exhausted. SMLZ flashing in. Burst Blood going to go to Shyvana. Now Carrie's coming in as well on the Riven, doing ridiculous damage with the Broken Rings. Gets a kill, but goes down to Thresh. And the hook, can he queue it up again? Going to go in, but now Dandy coming through. Slingshot level 1. Will miss though, and no other kills. Just a 1-for-1 in a minute.
And the LPL goes full China in the first minute of the game. No minions have spawned yet, ladies and gentlemen, but 3 people have already fallen. The gold credit goes to Shyvana and Thresh. Not necessarily ideal. And Carrie's going to have extra items to go with his longsword.
Yeah, and you know, we talk about the lane in the top side. Probably something a Riven has to snowball, but as a kill there, not a bad start. Vang with some extra gold. Hatong sitting there as well. Even Mata actually ended up with an extra assist. So Vici getting pretty close, actually. M3 with 2 kills. They'll take it for the early game. Shenanigans abound, but as we settle in, we're going to have a lane swap, actually. We've got Twitch already in the top side with the Thresh.
Yep, so the lane swap does look like it's going to be successfully navigating. Waited to see it confirm. Yep, Vayne is happily running down bot. You're going to have to take the range farmer Shyvana, who can just max that Flame Breath in a 1v2 and happily CS from range against a Riven who's definitely not going to have the most fun in that situation, although her jungle follow, pretty healthy.
Yeah, and actually doing a bit of jungling is Carrie now with that longsword and a couple of extra potions. Understanding that, you know what, things aren't looking so good. We've actually seen jungle Riven already in the LPL very early on by Spirit, so not too bad in the early jungle camps.
No, not at all, and of course has extra potions available. I believe 4 potions after the early first blood coming through. I don't know who actually got the first blood credit. I believe it was Master 3, but still going to be a happy 300 gold bounty, as the jungle's definitely a perilous place for Dandy.
Yeah, they actually spot him off as well with the Tremor Sense, so know they can pretty safely take this buff away. There's still a red sitting on M3's side of the jungle, so one of the things about Zac, like Shyvana and the other tank junglers, you can get counter jungled quite early on.
And you can see that very early pink ward coming out. They already knew that Thresh and Twitch were on the top side of the map, so just had to seed this top side jungle. Going to have to try and answer with a red buff. But you can see on this mini map, Loop is well ahead of them here, and it's going to be a 3 buff for Master 3.
There's a smite. That's so clever from M3 to use that jungle Shyvana in air quotes and take away the 3 buffs.
He's even got, look at this, he's even got the machete after getting the 101 from the first blood. He got a snowball machete to go with the ruby crystal 2 pots.
Yeah, he's got boots now as well after a bit of a recall. So good jungle start here from M3 to kick things off. We were wondering when were teams going to start using this extra smite in the top lane to really get going on some early jungle camps. And M3 in their final game, the last game to get them to playoffs, looking very innovative already.
And this is the first of the jungle top laners, which I'm going to call it, the smite top laners, to actually pick up the machete. So he's in absolutely no rush to get to lane. Of course, that machete not going to give him any relevant statistics in lane, but happily going to go and DPS down camps and just wreck his own jungle.
And it's been a while since you've seen true double jungling, I'll say it, where you're really trying to monopolize as much of the jungle as possible. They've already kind of taken the top half away with SMLZ being in the top side with Love CD, so give Shyvana one corner and give Rek'Sai the rest. And so Dandy's got nothing.
I'm surprised to see 4 camps available given the amount of people rummaging through the jungles for camps and gold to be picked up. And all the lanes have so much pressure because there's just so many damn people missing off the map.
You can see Dandy actually in the red side jungle now trying to find something. We'll find Looper, but I don't know if he can get this camp. He's going to slingshot away. They've got a ward there. Smite does come down. Dandy will pick it up and Looper will be denied some farm.
Okay, but that's the least of the advantages he could get. Of course, he's lost one of his main buffs. Only a 1 buff start for Dandy. Of course, you do actually catch up and experience quite fast in the jungle. Those big camps give a lot of experience, and just everyone's helping themselves to them.
It's so brutal that Dandy has to share farm with Carrie as well, but that's the reality of the situation. Not that many resources left for Vici after they got stripped of them by M3 in the early pressure, and Carrie's level 3 impressively, but a couple of CS behind the machete Shyvana.
I mean, it'd be interesting to see which of these junglers do less with more with less resource. It's going to be a very low resource game.
Condi actually coming in there with Looper. We'll find Mata there as a squishy target. Dandy coming through exhaust down as well. Carrie's actually found in massive flash stun there on the key burst, and Condi's forced to flash away.
You play around the fact that Riven was coming in late, still had flash available amazingly after those early craziness. Dade's in trouble.
Yeah, he's getting dove now, been ignited by Hatong. Glitterlance goes a little wide there, but Dade still has to run. He's on the wrong side of the map, but so are Vici, to be perfectly honest, and Dade distorts away to safety.
He needs to go find his very friendly Playgrat friend in the top side of the map just to get away from all the pressure. Looper teleports into mid. In this game, is just crazy.
This game is crazy as Carry narrowly misses an opportunity to get a kill, but will enter the top side of the map. Level 3 on the Riven versus a level 4 Twitch. SMLZ, to be fair, quite low on health, so Carry comes in at the perfect time.
8 CS with 2 longswords. It's crazy how early games can go, but Carry's looking very, very healthy item-wise.
Yeah, 2-1-0, and SMLZ actually going aggressive. Looper and Love City coming through on the Thresh, trying to line up a hook. Riven's still quite vulnerable at level 4 and will back away.
Very suspicious to see him going aggressively when he was tanking the minion line. So smart to know something was up as Connie visits mid.
Yeah, ganking in there, Dada coming in, but another teleport coming through. Hatong looking to go down. Dada needs one more auto attack, but now Carry's here as well. He'll get aggressive. Love CD, though, will join in, and Riven can't come in here. Wasted teleport by Carry.
Yeah, Hatong just waits to the last second to use that shield. Don't know if he had enough mana for the wild growth, I believe. So still lives through the whole engage. Dada going to feel frustrated. Last game, when we saw 2 members live on Slithers of Hell, it seemed to tilt Master 3. Cannot let that happen now.
And forgot to mention that in and amongst all of the chaos, Vici on Vayne is happily farming almost 60 CS at 7 minutes.
And that jungle freeze has been a lot better than Twitch's. Look at that, 39 to 57, despite the fact that no one was paying attention to either of those lanes. Only now going to start pushing in. Bilgewater already completed. Item advantage, but Master 3, they're on Dragon.
Yeah, interesting to see them swap back, but Dragon is a consideration, so Condi, on top of it, going to look to solo it away. They're at level 5. Does have his smite. We've seen most level 4 junglers able to take the Dragon away, so shouldn't be too tricky a solo.
Yeah, whether it's Nunu or Lee Sin, they've both navigated these early buffs. Seems like Rek'Sai can happily do it as well. Marta was in the area. Sorry, low CD on Thresh was in the area just in case he needed to be involved. Carry's picking up a lot of solo experience though, but Shyvana happy herself.
Yeah, and again, so weird where this game has gotten to as M3 do get the first Dragon, but for all the resources being traded here, everyone's sort of ending up in a reasonable place. At least no one's falling dramatically behind. Riven's behind a little bit. Twitch sort of in the same boat here. And even Hatong leading slightly in CS in the mid lane. But other than that, despite all the swaps, we've actually looked okay. As Vasily's popped his ulti going for a 2v1 kill there.
The final hour used. SMLZ goes in aggressively with the attack speed. Sorry, doesn't have ambush available now. Or flash. He actually had to flash defensively. But with that heal, might be able to deal with the potential turret dive coming through. Nope, Love CD's here.
Yep. Just in time there to save him. We'll get a bit of health back from the Relic Shield procs there as well. So slaps away the cannon and SMLZ will be okay. It's an awkward landing phase. Even Twitch against Vayne isn't a good matchup for Twitch early on, and they're both sort of racing to those blades.
Yeah, there's definitely no good laning matchups for Twitch. He really struggles in lane and just can't do much to stand up, even to Vayne, who historically has a lot of poor matchups herself. So just trying to navigate laning phase, and everything changes when that Blade the Ruined King is completed.
Oh, great play there. Exhaust down as well. Very low is Vasily. The heal force to use Condi. Gonna run an amazing flash by Love CD. Hook lands, knock up in as well. And the kill going over to Love CD, who well deserves it.
Yeah, not ideal kill distribution, but a wonderful play. Waited till the Dark Passage had registered to flash in aggressively and then flay it back. Would take a bow, Love CD. Use that for some Moby boots and do some roaming, because man, your Thresh mechanics are good.
Yeah, help out Dade. We've seen Love CD's Thresh before takeover games. Was surprised to maybe not see them pick it up for Mata, but it was a priority pick for M3 as Dandy's called out Dade. Wild growth as well. Let's bounce though from Zach. Hatong gonna chase out LeBlanc. Dark Passage gonna land in. Love CD gonna flay Dandy back in the chain. Not quite registering though, as Vici will keep chasing in, but tunnels around for Rek'Sai. She'll be safe. Dandy still wanting to go in, just has his flash though, and can't keep chasing.
Your old teammates Dandy and Dade meet in the enemy jungle. It's Dandy that comes in the advantage. Already came in the landside advantage last game. This game a lot closer. Only a 600 gold lead, but crucially, it's to Master 3, who are desperate for that win to make it to playoffs.
Yeah, and after those first 3 kills, we've quietened down a little bit here, but there's good farm coming through in the top side. Carry in particular going to be on par for a very quick team up. Probably even the Hydras. Looper, an aggressive teleport here, and he's got his Skirmisher's Saber done already.
Yeah, Skirmisher's Saber, Cinderholt, so has the challenging smite available. You have to think with the 20% reduced damage that he can put onto Carry and the true damage coming through, he should actually be able to trade quite favorably with Carry. I always expect this matchup to go pretty well for Looper and Shyvana against the Riven with some armor purchases. Not quite armor yet, but certainly going to have the armor coming through from the level of the Dragon's Descent, the ultimate, and of course, just any armor pickups that will come soon.
And the Brutalizer that Carry picked up will help there in the matchup, so we'll see if Carry can get a bit more traction. Right now, Looper, who's honestly just been farming the jungles, you can see on the minimap, Stu going in, wants to take away more camps, warding the red buff now as well.
You can't really blame him. He's found so many camps at this point. It's 13 CS ahead, despite despite the fact that he's never really visited any lanes. This is the power farm jungle Shyvana that doesn't gank your lane but gets really strong in a competitive game.
Yeah, Condi now getting smited down onto Mata. They're going to go in for Vasily. Good play back. SMLZ unleashing the ultimate there. Amazing hook landing in as well, and Dade gets the kill.
Yeah, Dade somehow is there in the fight, able to pick up the kill, but it helps his snowball, so they're not going to argue RM3. You can see the ultimate popped. It looked like the trade was pretty even between Looper and Carry, and when that big carrot is gone, going to be favorable trading for Looper. That's why he goes in.
Blade of the Exile wears off, and Carry going to have to chase in. Good keyburst stun there, but Looper still chasing in on Shyvana. Smite available, but doesn't use it. Not enough damage, and Condi used his ulti as well, but Carry already away to safety.
Yeah, no semblance of CC. Could have been forgiven maybe for looking for the chilling smite and just having that available on Shyvana. Might go to the Blade of the Ruin King in the late game, but probably needs to prioritize armor in the early game.
Blue buff now going to get donated over to Dandy as Hatong actually gets a turret in the mid lane. Our first one of our last game here. 264th game. That's incredible.
Yeah, but importantly, Hatong does punish Dade for his roam. They would have secured a kill whether Dade made the visit bottom or not, and Dandy's looking for Dade again.
Of course he is. Dade now in trouble. Good wild growth knock. A bit of a miss flash there from Dade, but distorts away to safety anyway. But when Dandy calls again, no flash will be available.
Honestly, he just needed to open up distance, and I guess he might have actually outthought Dandy, who would have expected a defensive flash towards his inner turret. So look, it worked out for Dade, able to open up more space with the distortion, and Vasily, he's kind of been an onlooker for all of this fighting.
And that's great for Vayne. I mean, Blade of the Ruin King's probably completed now for Vasily as far as gold goes. SMLZ actually completed his after getting 4 assists in the early stages of the game. So Twitch on board for a potential submarine kill. This is where he can start to tip the matchups in his favor.
The moment you pick up the Blade of the Ruin King, you just have so much instant burst of power. You can go so aggressive in your positioning with ambush with such a big wave that he will have to show himself bottom. So the potential outfoxing is removed in terms of threat for now.
Yeah, shows the blade there as well. So a little awkward, but SMLZ getting some CS. They're going to catch up a bit to Vayne. And honestly, these late game carries have been just fine. It's a very isolated bottom lane of all things, given the movement that we've had. And as a result, it's been plenty of free farm.
I would say it's definitely been fine for SMLZ. Vasily was really enjoying it when he'd been completely an afterthought, had 60 CS very, very early, then it's died twice in very recent history. Dade was punished, though, for his roam, and getting that outer turret as your first turret for Vici is such a massive victory. It was discussed by Spawn in the previous game, but it gives you so many positioning options. It allows you to aggressively go into multiple parts of the enemy jungle, so whenever you can get that turret first, it opens up so many strategic rotations.
Yeah, Dragon up very soon, though. 10 seconds on that one. Scuttlecrab will get cleared away. Ward will be swept and spotted there as it gets taken away. Hitong pretty far ahead in CS, actually, about 25. They're up on Dade, and Condi recalling up. He's got his ulti. Nice little tunnel.
Actually,
awkward.
Doesn't get to recall. Looking at his item plus, probably has the warrior enchant complete, so is very much hoping for no kill, but they rush it down so fast with Blade of the Ruin King Twitch that doesn't matter.
Yeah, I like it from Condi. Really smart stuff. Unfortunately, the Dragon knockback cancelled his recall, but managed to get it anyway. We'll go back and spend his gold, and all of a sudden, M3 looking good. The gold lead slightly there for them, but second turret for Vici almost makes it even, and that's 2-1 in turrets now.
Of course, we always try and evaluate whether a turret is worth a dragon. With the second dragon, in terms of statistics, definitely going to take the turret, but it opens up the third one. And given that you have a Twitch who's always going to be looking for rotations in the early to mid game, even the early late game, is able to get so much burst damage with that Blade of the Ruin King and get picks around the mid that, look, it's not too bad.
Speaking of picks around the mid, Lulu's still hanging out there and CSing well. Morel and Nomicon done there for Hatong as Carry continued to jungle, this time in the enemy jungle with the Tiamat completed up there with the Brutalizer. Carry actually quite strong right now, but not too sure what he wants to get done. Riven at this point probably going to keep pushing, but that's up against Looper on Shyvana, so possibly a tall order.
It just feels like this game is kind of a tall order for the comp that Vici have put through, just because the Riven hasn't really got going this game. Has decent kills CS-wise, but you really need to take advantage of the early mid-game to snowball objectives, specifically dragons for Riven. So good if you're face-checking the Riven, but if the Riven ever has to play on the enemy's terms, just has to use her spells for gap close rather than damage, she can really fall apart in team fights. In terms of CC, only really the Thresh box. There is the potential that if she gets on top of enemy carries, she can do a lot of damage in fights, but it's very situational and just so much more reliable as Shyvana just going into that massive dragon form and diving the back line with, of course, the Cinderhulk as well.
Yeah, now the Smite can help him take away the red buff. Had warded it a couple of times, and Looper will get the steal away. Even Love City rotating in. That carry will be spotted by a wall, but can get safely back to his turret.
Take away the pink ward in this situation. Carries had to be so defensive this game. It feels like in general, Master 3 have had the run of the Vici side of the jungle. It's a big
Yeah,
fight.
hook lands onto Mata there. Looper, though, forced the Dragon's Descent away. Carry had popped his ultimate, and that's too scary for Master 3.
A big deal, but Tongue.
Knock up there coming through there. Snare on for Dade. Dandy, though, here as well. Condi going to get caught out of position. Zephyr moves in for the slow, and Hetong will claim that kill with Ignite. Carry there just pops his ulti for a bit of poke damage, and Vici still on the offensive.
He went for a flanking teleport, did Carry, but Master 3 intelligently thought out the situation. Backing on a ward.
Yep. Bad news for Dade. Dandy will find him and take away the pink ward that's there on top of the blue, but still, again, no major advantages. Gold, in fact, dead even, so 2 dragons up for M3, possibly the big lead there.
They didn't want to break this last outer turret. It's down the bottom lane. They don't necessarily have a minion wave prepped yet to take it. They're just around the mid, so Vici can't break the outer ring of turrets just yet, but you can see, if they get the first pick, they're looking strong in teamfight.
And we talked a little bit about their teamfight CC combinations. Pretty hard to line up Lulu Zac, but if you can, Riven in there, especially with a mini AoE stun that you can sync up, lots of people are going to die to the Winston.
I mean, in general, the Let's Bounce continues to knock up even after the first bounce. I believe it bounces 3 times, maybe 4. Throw in the Wild Growth for a secondary CC. As you mentioned, sometimes it's so far away from the Lulu that she has to use the Whimsy just to get to the middle of the fight. But if during all that time, Carry somehow gap closes and can just use that Blade of the Exile on top of all the members, you have an insane burst potential.
Yeah, if they stick together, they can Whimsy in the Riven, actually. That's kind of a cool part of the comp, as Looper doesn't need help gap closing. Plenty of action there on the Shyvana. Level 10 right now, and Looper having a field day right now, farming all of the things.
I mean, it's going to be so interesting to see the post-game stats soon, just see how many of those are monsters and how many of them are minions. He spent so much time jungling. Level 1 Machete after the massive carnage in the top lane. M3 trying to get another turret. Dandy.
Vici going in. Good tornado that hits onto Condi. That's going to force the tunnel. Amazing contempt from Vasily and Mata blocking off the entrance. Vasily, a well-deserved kill.
He finally gets his kill score. Carry's caught in the top.
Does have his flash. Great juke of the chains there by Carry, and doesn't even need the flash. He'll just get back under the turret.
Yeah, definitely needed to have to curve the chains there to Dudley. Not possible on the Rift, so isn't able to get CC under Carry. So good juke coming through. And he just keeps piling on the CS. And as we mentioned, although it's hard to teamfight with Riven, if the opportunity presents itself, don't be mistaken. The damage will be real.
Yeah, it's a lot of setup required, but Riven does do good damage. So hard to teamfight with the Riven. Vici, though, with this comp, do have capabilities. And again, it's Carry's favorite champion. Why not give it to him in his last game?
And really, the thing that Carry needs to do, and what Vici needs to set up for Carry, is just defensive wards so he can split push. Because whatever you say about teamfights, in a 1v1 situation, you are so damn strong on this Riven. The challenging smite, that might throw some wrenches into the works. But at this point, you're definitely able to dual Looper if you're Carry. You will either go even or better, I'd have to say. So just set up some defensive wards. Because remember, Master 3 have basically run this red side of the jungle for Vici and hasn't been able to overextend or really split push as Carry.
Vasily looking strong, though. Zeal now added in with that Blade of the Ruined King. So Phantom Dancer second seems to be the build, whereas the Ghost Blade's going to be the pickup there for SMLZ. Looking down, we've got a Spirit Visage done for Dandy. Very strong item there. And even a Need to See Large Rod on Hetong, who's very accelerated.
I mean, SMLZ definitely doubling down on his rat-a-tat-tat for Windows of Power. 6 seconds you get duration for that Yomu's Ghost Blade. About the same amount of duration, especially at early levels for the rat-a-tat-tat. He's going to be God mode damage during that time. But when it goes away, he's not going to be able to tank bust. I mean, good thing for him, it's only Dandy that's a true tank. And Dandy hasn't itemized any armor just yet. But into the late game, that might be a very relevant problem for SMLZ.
Yeah, just a lot of farming right now. I've calmed things down quite a bit from the early minutes of the game, but Dragon up in 20 seconds. That'll be M3's third and Vici's first. And even Baron here, we've seen crazier Barons today, Papa Smithy, 40 seconds away.
And SMLZ hasn't snowballed on this Twitch despite having the Blade of the Ruined King for the best part of 7 to 8 minutes. Haven't been any submarine kills. Doesn't have the Lulu on his team to whimsy him and speed him into a fight. Doesn't have a Morgana to potentially give him the Black Shield to make picks easy. So picks are risky around this map. And with all the chaos, you think that adding the submarine Twitch to the chaos would work for Master 3, but he's been almost retarded or held back from doing that.
Yeah, just no mobility really for the Twitch. Not able to navigate the lanes and get aggressive. I mean, kind of been kept an eye on in some ways. Lulu especially, very good at spotting out stealth champions with help picks, giving a little bit of true sight while the duration's on. And Vici going to start their first Dragon here. If M3 want to fight, they've got to go soon.
And you can see they want to fight. Teleport's coming in.
Yeah, Looper's coming through, but actually they'll spot him off and they'll peel. They're trying to kill him. Looper forced to ult defensively out of the way, but that will give M3 some traction on Dragon. Vici going to keep taking it. Dandy with the Bloblets and the Spirit Visage, quite healthy.
It's Gonna reset soon, of course. Only a few soft leashes left. They're DPSing it down.
Yeah, they do get it. They just kind of bully them and zone them off the pit, and Vici will claim their first.
Yeah, try and answer with turret pressure to the mid. Of course, with Twitch, you do not have the best turret damage, even though they have 2 other ranged auto attackers on the team.
Yeah, I mean, all the on-hit build basically with the Blade and Ghost Blade does make it a tad awkward at times, and Vici rotate back in as 5, clear out the minions from under their turret and continue with the turret lead for now. Looper again going to take the buff away. This time gives it over to SMLZ, and again, Shyvana looking strong, 151 to 155 CS in the top lane, and if Looper ever gets really big, those 3 big items especially come through, look for him to make plays.
And I'll wonder, has Dandy actually picked up one of his own red buffs this game? Because, of course, Shyvana was in the enemy jungle very, very early, picking up red credit.
Katong going to get snared there, does wild growth, but too much damage coming through, and Condi going to pick up that kill. Lantern will get him to safety. Box used as well, just to disengage. SMLZ exhausted. Carry looking for a kill, does have his flash, but slowed through the box wall. Didn't quite dissipate when he wanted it to.
But got a pick for no other reward. Haven't got a turret yet. They need to start snowballing these picks into turrets. It's what the top teams like EDG do so well. That's what was the big difference in Game 1 of EDG versus OMG earlier tonight. Need to get the push on, and we already mentioned with Twitch in an even situation, sieging is always difficult.
Yeah, they want to get the precious mid turret there, and they will force Vici off with a Tong dead in the 5v4 situation. So good power play there coming through for M3, but that gold lead still only slightly ahead there for M3.
And the crazy thing is that among 10 champions, only 1 recognized ranged wave clear champion in Lulu on Vici's side. Lulu was the only person dead. That's what opened up the siege, but both these teams very poor at defending siege. Siege turret damage, fine between Vasily and SMLZ, but very risky. So the picks are going to be even more important. And honestly, on paper at least, that should suit the Twitch.
I mean, it should. Look at the both teams, and that's what they're trying to set up. Yes, maybe there's a bit more AoE team fight coming through for Vici, but it's interesting to see these comps go down. And as we've said, SMLZ just been farming so far in this game, hasn't found the picks quite yet.
And if the game is going to swing dependent on picks, we have to start looking at the warding coming through. Honestly, almost no wards on the map coming through from M3. They need to get on top of that objective. They have double Sightstone and basically have a naked map in terms of vision. Only a couple of defensive wards right next to their own wolf camp. They need to start moving those wards forward. And the red wards, there's a couple of pinks down. Flanking pink wards are going to be very relevant. Even just trying to defend your mid lane and have a pink ward behind, say, Lulu, who's wave clearing, to stop you from getting ambushed on by the Twitch. So pink ward's definitely going to be the big thing for Vici. If they can keep 100% uptime on 5 pink wards, that goes a long way to winning this game.
Yeah, especially because SMLZ has just picked up his Yomu's Ghost Blade there as well. So looking quite a bit stronger now. Those 2-item spike we talk about from the Twitch has finally come through. Dade also getting stronger. Need to see Large Rod completed there to go along with the Athenes. And I think Dade is going to go for a quick Zhonya's there.
Amada has his very trademark Medjai's being completed on the Janna. We're just waiting for the next big fight to have no objectives to fight over as Dragon fell to Vici. No third Dragon coming through to help the rotations from M3 just yet. Again, everything on the line for M3. They need to win this game to make playoffs. World Elite are going to be watching on nervously because, of course, if M3 fail to get the win, they're into playoffs.
Yeah, and SMLZ finally going to get an aggressive ambush down that should at least give them a semblance of vision control. And you mentioned the aggressive wards. I agree they're not there as Carry getting chunked out a little bit there by Dade, who looking quite scary on the LeBlanc at this stage of the game. It makes sense that M3 haven't been able to get that many aggressive wards. It only just took the mid turret.
It only just took the mid turret, it's true, but they need to start pushing the vision up, at least around the turrets they've taken down. All outer turrets have fallen on this map, so if you're willing to be intrepid explorers to coin a line from Ezreal and get down there and get some aggressive wards, that will be so important, especially for the pick comps like, for example, LeBlanc and Twitch, 2 pick champions. Thresh as well, a pick champion. They need to start getting those picks because we just haven't seen the global pressure from Rex side be relevant. We haven't seen the split push coming through from Carry. Both these teams need to really work on that vision. That's not usually something you level at Vici, whose vision game was the cornerstone of their big 6-0 run earlier in the season.
Yeah, it's been looking fantastic so far. And with Vasily starting to split push a little bit in the top side of the map, feels like Vici are fairly confident at this point, but M3 have set up a nice brush on themselves. Dade going to try and find a pick. Mata takes a big chunk of damage, but Shane does not connect. And Danny going to fly right in onto Condi, but Carry getting exhausted in the front line. Does snare up Looper there with the key burst, but he gets out with the Dragon's Descent hook. Just wide there is Danny still taking damage, but Carry goes in massive, gets the instant double kill. Gonna make it a triple there, and SMLZ gonna go down as well. Vasily steals the quadra, but Condi maybe gonna go down here as well. And we talked about setting up the Riven. When it works, it works well.
It works so sparingly, but when it does, such a massive load of damage, of course, with the Ravenous Hydra as well. Everyone died instantly, both LeBlanc and Thresh. Of course, Twitch falling later, and they have so much damage that Baron is a trivial objective.
Baron's real dead here in this game. Condi, even available with his ultimate and a tunnel nearby, does not even think about a steal there. And after all that damage, I can't blame him.
I mean, from 0 to 100 was the result there for Vici Gaming. Everyone dying instantly, and now panic stations for Master 3. You can see some bemused look on the face from multiple members as Vici might have blown this game wide open.
That was Carry. I think he just couldn't believe that he got a triple kill. I mean, he's got distortion boots now, and a lot of that kill was the flash, because let's see it again.
Let's just wait for the engage. Of course, they get so much damage onto Marta. Things are looking okay for Master at this point, but they're so grouped up, and watch the engage that comes through. Dandy walks back. We're not expecting anything. No go button just yet. And then finally, we're going to see this big wombo engage back onto 4 members. Actually just flashed in himself there. It's just poor positioning coming through from Vici, not respecting Carry's flash. And against a Riven main, the Riven main of the LPL, sometimes it all lines up.
Yep. Teleport now coming through for Carry and M3. You better run after what happened then. It's even home guard Riven just in case. I actually thought it had the distortion upgrade, so that's a bit weird. Yeah, that's definitely distortion. I must have been wrong. It's no home guard. I'm sorry, friends. But Dragon getting aggressed on M3. Going to go in for a bit of a 50-50. Here's Zach going to dive in. Rek'Sai, though, will claim it. Dandy quite low, actually. And M3 grouping up again, but Vici already used the Wild Growth. Atong gets skill into Condi. Dandy will go down to SMLZ, but Carry going nuts there in the front line, but getting low, almost goes down. Another kill there lands in, but Vasily trades as well, and it's a 2-for-1 win for Vici.
And SMLZ has to position so defensively, even running the Rat-a-tat-tat was doing more damage to Zach than he was to any of the backline members. The front line melted from M3, and that's including Lupa with Randall and Cinderhulk and the makings of what looks like a Guardian Angel, perhaps, with all the resist that he's picked up. No match for the damage being put out by both Carry and Vasily. And we don't often see Rivens fighting around their carries, but it seems to be working out just fine.
Yeah, it's looked great. I mean, she's a pretty good bodyguard if you ever want one, and it's helped out for Vasily here. I do like the distortion upgrade that we eventually saw for the boots as well, because you saw it, Carry kind of needs to flash to get in range.
Absolutely. That seems to be the thing. Things seems to be gated by his flash, so it's become very important in this situation. Dade found 2 pink wards and then realized that the time it would take him to DPS them both down with his auto attack just wasn't worth the trade-off in that situation. So they have an idea of where these pink wards are at. Pink wards have definitely been used by Vici very smartly this game. We mentioned it already. If you consistently have uptime on those pink wards, you just remove options from SMLZ, and the result is very defensive use of the Rat-a-tat-tat. We've already established that his damage is gated by 6 seconds of uptime on the Yomus and to some degree the Rat-a-tat-tat. And when that's down, they don't have to respect Twitch in the same way.
Yeah, and it's just there's a lot of good hard engage for Vici. We've seen it in the last few engages, but M3 trying to steady themselves. They still need to win this game to make playoffs, so 4,000 gold down. We'll see if they can collect themselves and start doing some things here. But Dade, you can see the build again. It wasn't the Zonias that he wanted as SMLZ opens it onto Hatong, but Wild Growth coming down. Mata diving in as well. Dandy also trying to set the trap, but Love CD ready to save his Twitch in that situation, and very smart positioning by Thresh.
The secret agent Dandy 009 is doing so much work on this Zac pick. Unique pick for the LPL, but you definitely see the strength of that champion. Vasily takes a nice burst of damage, but they're still going to be able to rotate.
Yeah, Dade's doing good damage, but it wasn't the Zonias. That's what I thought need to see Large Rod Amplifying Tome was going to be as Vici take a turret, but I have to reevaluate my recipes there because it's a Luden's Echo again.
It's going for the Luden's Echo for just a bit more burst. It definitely doesn't work as well as DFG for LeBlanc's kit, but because you have so many short cooldowns and spell rotations, you should get 2 procs of that maybe in one complete burst trade with a bit of movement as well. So it's not the worst item. It just makes him, again, he has to defensively position because, of course, has no defensive options, has no Zonias for a stasis effect. We've already established that SMLZ is positioning very defensively in these fights. They're respecting Vici to the point that it's not putting enough damage out.
Dandy used his ultimate. Actually, I think we're a bit of extra tenacity to get out of the snare there, but
no tenacity on that ultimate.
Oh, not anymore. That was the best.
That was when Zach was really damn good.
He was really good. And fine in this minute, to be perfectly honest.
I mean, of course, he does, I believe, break slows with the ultimate, but the tenacity long gone.
Well, thank God for that, as Dandy, you know, mucking around using that ult. He's pretty short snare on LeBlanc anyways. Dandy going to charge it up again, and M3 immediately back away.
I mean, M3 are playing so defensively with a pick comp, and when the picks no longer come, their comp really doesn't do very much of anything. They have disgustingly poor wave clear, absolutely no wave clear whatsoever, barring the distortions coming in from LeBlanc or Shyvana having her way with a minion wave. So in general, with Vici winning, the way back for M3 isn't clear. They need to pull off one of these submarine engages or a massive pick when they've struggled to do that even on even footing in the last 30 minutes.
Yeah, important to note, that's defensive wave clear, of course. They push out just fine, but in these sort of situations like a siege, M3 are going to struggle to keep minions away from their turrets, and Riven was even starting to prep the push there as well. So things looking good for Vici. They might even just go in for a dive here, and Looper, not even you're safe right now.
No, there's just so much pressure coming onto M3. I mean, there was coming into this series, of course, needing just one victory against very tough opposition in Vici. But Vici definitely look like they're going to keep their upward momentum, and M3, they're struggling.
They are. I mean, it's nice for Vici again. If they win this series, especially in the fashion that they have, with such a fun game one there from Marta's Blitz especially, and now on complete comfort picks and some good champions that they enjoy playing here for Vici. They'll come into playoffs, which again is very soon, thinking that they've just won 2-0, lots of momentum and very relaxed. They didn't have to, work really hard or play super meta champions. They got to do what they wanted in this series and still managed to 2-0.
And with everything on the line for M3, picks like this Twitch in particular, I didn't mind the comp in game one, but of course it was all for naught very early. It was the comp doesn't matter when you're 10,000 gold behind at 13 minutes into the game. In this situation, the gold lead's certainly not there to the same degree, but the flow of the past 15 minutes has completely been in the advantage of Vici.
Yeah, M3 just keep playing defensively, and as you said, that's not where they want to be. No aggressive vision down now, pretty much at all. Just one ward near the blue buff there over for M3, and that's about it. Sitting in a brush on top of a pink ward, trying to find a pick as Looper acts as bait sort of towards down the bottom side of the map. But Looper's pretty hard to kill. He's not that good bait and carry. He's in the top lane.
And that's the awkward thing, is that Looper, despite having Randuin's and Thornmail, isn't in the same lane as carry. If he can't even be able to 1v1 carry a Riven with all this armor stacking, then that's a big strategic hole. There's no point split pushing in that lane when they already have all the pressure around it. But we talked about M3's comp. It's about picks. They haven't found the picks this game. That's why they're desperately sitting under a pink ward hoping for a pick, but the only person who's going to be face-checking at this point is Dandy, and you're not going to kill him fast.
No, he's real tanky at this point. Randu and Zoma, Ninja Tabai, and the Spirit Visage on top of the Cinderhawk. Look at that metal size. Real big Zac there, about 3,500 health already.
Absolutely. I mean, good luck, Dade, getting sneaking skill shots past the Zac. We already established that he can't curve those chains, and he might need to, because again, the positioning, if it's on point from Vici, it's going to be so hard for the pick CC to do anything in a fight.
And M3 looking at this dragon, but this is not a dragon you want to contest. A difficult fight for them to win, but Looper's going to teleport in. They might just have to go for it here, and carry flanking around the back, trying to find the backline. Dragon going to get low. Condi will actually get it, so that's a 4th dragon there for M3, but carry round the side going to go and gets exhausted immediately though, and still almost kills Dade with his ultimate. Still moving through as well, but getting low. The great kiting coming through as SMLZ gets the first kill. Now Dandy going to come in as Looper tied up so much time in the backside of the fight. Vasily going to come in, Dade going in aggressive, wanting to kill the Vayne. Scrying Orb down as well. Condi going to move him, but gets slowed by Hetong, and no other kills forthcoming. Dade going to try and make it work. Good dodge of the chain by Hetong while he's whimsied, and it's only one kill, but a crucial kill.
And Hetong kept Vici in the game with some lovely sidesteps, and the Glitter Lance coming up clutch on 3 closing members. So all they get is the 1 kill coming from that fight. Finally, SMLZ was able to DPS a priority target on his own terms, taking down Riven in the backline. Was able to fight and fire in those 6 seconds of power and through the rat-a-tat-tat with nobody on top of him. But you don't feel like Vici will let M3 recreate that situation multiple times this fight. That was definitely a fight fought on the terms of Twitch. They got the steal away on the Dragon, so there is suddenly a win condition for M3 consistently every 6 minutes being spawned. And Vici, they need to try and take a decisive advantage, because although they've been winning in terms of pressure, they haven't broken the base, and they haven't got a massive gold lead.
No, and that might have given M3 a second win here as Dade clearing a wall, but Dandy wants to kill him. Distortion, though, will make that a moot point. Chain even going to land just for a bit of poke, and Dade will safely get his blue buff.
He'll get the blue buff. That's another critical factor. Moves his way towards 40% CDR. Suddenly has a snowball void stuff that might be very relevant when we're talking about taking down everybody except properly for Zac.
Yeah, we can see M3 starting to more confidently move out now as well. Get the Sightstone wards down, get some more aggressive vision, and maybe start getting picks with Twitch. And If M3 can make a couple of little steps happen here, they'll be well back into this game. And the lead right now for Vici is not that massive.
And I'll be just interested to see whether the next fight confirms that Lupa might be a more relevant team fighter than Riven. That's what we expect in general. Flash is now on cooldown for another at least 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes coming through from carry. Lupa, much lower cooldown that Dragon Descent, and just so much armor. Should be able to shrug off a lot of damage. You saw in the previous fight, he was eating the attention of multiple members, including a Vayne with true damage and able to tank it through. If he can recreate that and create a zone as a one-man dive squad, and it gives time for Twitch to carry, Master 3 could still win this game.
They could, and I'm kind of looking at Carry's inventory right now. My guess is that that's a Guardian Angel coming up with the Negatron Cloak and the Cloth Armor in there for an eventual Chain Vest. But honestly, after that last fight, I would not mind a QSS just for the exhaust.
I mean, a QSS, a Bloodthirster might be a consideration. Vici going for a really cute Dragon. Don't know if Scrying Orb is available, but it might be necessary.
Well, that's a Baron there, and it's doing quite a lot of damage as Vici will force to disengage. They do have the Scuttle Crabs. There's some good unsweepable vision now, but a good ward in the back there for M3. Tips them off about the Baron, and they're even going to start to counter push the mid lane now.
There's no semblance of sieging on the M3 side. The wave clears mostly in the path of Hetong, but Zach can, of course, dive in and just eat off any damage because he's very tanky and has his passive as well. So they need a pick. Both these teams, to some degree, need a pick. They need Flash on carry before Vici engage a fight. They've already shown the difference between a fight with Flash and a fight without Riven having Flash is severe. So they're waiting for items like you mentioned. Guardian Angel could be relevant, but I think you just go for the damage and go for the best. If you get that Flash W, you'll kill multiple members. It doesn't matter if you die after that.
Yeah, we can see SMLZ's gotten quite scary. Last Whisper's been completed to join his double blades there, the Ghost Blade and the Blade of the Ruined King, and a BF sword in there might signal a potential Infinity Edge, and Bloodthirster would be just fine as well. But as Twitch gets going, we haven't talked about it too much. We saw it once this weekend with Imp, but the damage is good, but SMLZ going to get picked off there. Darting with a good chain, going to try and peel away. Does manage to do so as Loop has distracted them.
Yeah, Loop has distracted them so they do not lose the maximum. Keeps his summoners available as well for the re-engage.
Dandy going back in, but Darty again keeping him down with the chain, and Luden's echo damage going off everywhere. Love CD going to flay Dandy back into the fight. And they're just trying to line it up here. Both teams looking for perfect engages.
The crazy thing for Vici is if they get the Rat-a-tat-tat cooldown, they should win a fight because there's no other steroids for Twitch. And the difference between a Twitch with Rat-a-tat-tat and without it available is severe. Just a short-range AD carry with no true steroids. Ambush on a long cooldown as well. They're just hoping to try and find a pick that forces the Rat-a-tat out used. Disengage, kite back, and then you have a 90-second window where you should be able to take a fight.
Yeah, and Vici going to sweep out some vision. Baron, the big contended buff now as well. But Dragon back in a minute 15 is M5's 5th, and Vici, they have two different halves of the map to worry about now.
M3 needs to go answer the waves that are pushing. We see Dade in the top, Shyvana in the bottom. That should be the go button for Vici to start to get exclusive vision on this bottom side. But they're so concerned with Baron that no one's actually looking for exclusive vision around Dragon, and especially if they're able to steal it away. I mean, Lupa would take a while, but with the Flame Breath debuff doing 2.5% max health, will be able to eventually do a Dragon. I mean, the 5th Dragon is a huge win condition here for M3, and it's 40 seconds away, and no one's paid any attention to the bottom side of the map.
Yeah, and M3 have double smites as well. It doesn't come up that often, but as far as buff security goes, they have just a little bit more, with Lupa having the smite in the top side as well. GA has been completed by Carry, though. You see a bit of gold to be spent by Hetong as well.
These are bad back timing, specifically for Dade. Has 1,600 gold. Wonderful that you're picking up Anina's large rod. But even with the home guards, it's all about prepping vision. That's what Danny and Mata established last year at the World Championship. It's all about a minute 30 before getting the vision down. And they're not a 5-man group. They have no vision around Dragon. But maybe they're looking to engineer a cheeky Dragon for Baron swap.
They're flanking right now, trying to catch M3 in transition to one of the neutral buffs there, but no catches available. Lupa, very speedy on the Shyvana and Carry. Bit more threatening now with the GA, can afford to take a big chunk of damage and then come back in to clean up the fight. But we've seen it. They need to get very specific engages to Vici, and M3, they have to wait. They just need the Dragon.
And the Whimsied Riven comes in, has a lot of gap close. Flash is now available, looking down the summon as well. Everybody's got everything up. So you know this next fight is going to be something.
And it's an important one for both teams to try and win. M3 need their 5th Dragon, and Vici have to stop it here. The Scuttle Crab will go down. Vici have already aggroed the Baron. This is a bold thing to do as Dade might have caught out Carry. Big damage there coming through onto the Riven.
And suddenly it looks like a team fight that can be initiated. SMLZ waiting in the back, level 16. So that's 3 points in the Rat-a-tat-tat, including the AD, improving the duration of that ability. Dragon's down to 3,000.
They can't really fight here. They have 2 smites to M3. Dandy gets hooked out of a slingshot.
It resets,
M3,
though.
they're going so aggressive onto the Dragon, but Kyrie over the side gonna catch Dandy. 5th Dragon gets get by Looper, so M3 will pick it up. But Carry going off in this fight onto SMLZ, but the Monsoon by Mata saves him. And M3, 2 kills for 1 as Dade goes down. And still fighting as well. Dandy gets Dade in the mess. Dandy now will be made into Bloblets, but he'll go down as well. And M3, they'll get their 5th Dragon and win the team fight.
A massive mistake from Mata using the Monsoon. Push Twitch over a cove of all things. Twitch was separated from the threats. That looked like a huge mistake positionally by SMLZ, but it worked to his benefit. They're going to at least break the base, you have to think. Only Riven, but crucially Lulu. A lot of wave clear, but you have to respect 4 5th Dragon members of M3.
And Mata looking a little sheepish right now as we have a very awkward time for a pause here in this particular game. M3, though, somehow have made their way back into this game and are clawing back in.
And you can see all the members shifting in their seats. This is such a high-octane moment, so much on the line in the last game of the season. Dade's just shouting into his comms at this point because there's just so much happening. It looks like Master 3 might have finally got the little nibble they needed. They finally won the big fight, all off the back of Dade chunking out Carry before the fight started.
And Mata does not look very impressed with that last ultimate. I think he knows what he did. SMLZ, if he had died, Carry might have been able to clean up the fight, but as it is, 3-1 now with Dade, the only one dead for M3, and M3 pushing in 4 strong now into the bottom side.
I have to see a replay. Hopefully we'll get one of that fight, just because I know that he wasn't looking to push Twitch anyway. There must have been another threat that he was dealing with, but the flow-on effect to move him over a cove. I mean, Twitch, the one thing about him is that if you gap close onto him, he has no defensive options, no dash. He's very easy to kill, very low base stats, but was saved by the Monsoon. Just crazy scenes in that fight.
And we've already established Riven pretty gated by her general mobility here, so once the 80 carries over a cove, you don't have very many good options to chase
And
him.
even with Distortion Boots, you can see the Flash is now about 4 minutes on cooldown, so 4 minutes till they're wanting to look to opt into a fight. Took off the jacket, the game face is on for Vasily, but only so much you can do on Vayne. As a short-ranged 550 or less range, because often cancelling those auto attacks to get your tumbles in. I mean, you have to respect Shyvana does so much damage at this point, incidentally, just from those base values. And it's a LeBlanc who can burst you in one rotation. So navigating a fight as Vayne, you know, when it looks good, it looks real good. But right now, it seems to be really difficult.
Yeah, we have unpaused the game, and M3 have to back away. Carry back still with the GA. Too scary, apparently. I mean, there's not that many people dead. Hatong's back as well. Can't really blame for having to go back, but a big team fight win, a 5th Dragon, and they can't break the base.
They can't break the base, but they have a lot of momentum coming into this game, but no gold lead still. It's still all equal. 264 games in, still something on the line, still all equal. The LPL has delivered in many different ways over the past 3 months. And right at the end, they don't take their finger off the pulse.
No, Hatong actually popping into the top just to clear a bit of the waves, but has to be careful, afraid maybe of people hiding in the red side jungle. Dade back now as well. Need to see large rod completed, possibly a death cap, possibly a Zonya's. All the items will be just fine here for Dade. And you know, the Luden's Echo, a bit weird as a second item, but as you generate more into your late game build, becomes a very strong, you know, 3rd Need to See Larger item that you can get into your build.
And I have to question the item purchase coming through from her tongue, though. Has the void stuff now, so it's doing decent damage, but tabbing over just has 23.75% CDR, so not running any CDR from runes. 40% CDR is usually the cornerstone of appealing Lulu build, and going for damage, I mean, I can understand it. Maybe it's just to have damage when Carry's flash is down, but I think you need 40% CDR to get the most out of Lulu's kit and just to set up Vasily to do the carrying on his own. Yeah,
and there's lots of carries here for Vici, but haven't quite gotten them into the right spots yet. Lupa teleporting, interestingly, has to get out of the situation as why, so strong TP, and in fact, might have given M3 a strategical advantage.
Yeah, they're able to push in this mid lane wave. SMLZ, we already mentioned not the best turret sieger, still plenty of turret damage, especially still riding the 5th Dragon buff.
Infinity Edge here as well, and this Twitch will melt the turret as it does go down. And M3, their scaling has started here. Vici are not super far behind as far as scaling champions go, but when you have such a massive range, when you activate your ultimate as Twitch, you let the ulti and it's so easy to win fights.
And again, the only real way to deal with him is to either instantly kill him or ensure that he uses his Youmu's and Rat-a-tat-tat early because he has no other steroids. Leaving Baron up though. Baron's going to die real damn quick.
Yeah, Baron's unbelievably dead. as the 5th Dragon melts through it there. I think Dragon just dropped it, did there for M3, but
Oh boy.
they'll look to fight. They'll find Carry, double flay there in his orbit. Riven going in massive, trying to kill SMLC. Does manage to get it. GA still available and still not dead. The Wild Ghost comes through.
Vici's.
There's a double kill coming through. Vici gonna claim the fight. Riven gets a triple kill. Dandy leaping forward, just misses the slow onto Condi, and all of a sudden, the game switches again.
And unbelievably, Carry did it with no flash, was able to get onto Riven. Where was the peel coming through from M3? They couldn't break the base when they picked up the 5th Dragon, but even with no buffs to speak of, Vici should ruin this game.
And Carry, Elixir of Wrath there as well, was so massive for that last little exchange, and the base going to be well and truly broken here, and Carry, last LPO game, going to finally live up to his namesake.
With no wave clear being on the M3 side, they might actually look to finish the game. Still 20 seconds on this Twitch. It looks overconfident, but with no wave clear, it's possible.
I mean, they can dive as well. They've got Azaki, so massive. Gonna go in onto Condi. Dandy taking out the turret. Carry just deletes Paul LeBlanc. Condi gonna go down as well. And Vici, they've done it. They've shattered M3's playoff dreams. And another 2-0 to end their season.
And what a heart stopper for Master 3 after such a long season. At times,